Welcome to the greatest show on earth.
Thanks.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth.
Thanks.
Hello, Braden Guy.
Hiya, how you doing?
So I've just seen two performances from you. We're going to talk about the first and then the second one. Explain to me the first one, what you were doing and what your intentions were.
Okay, my intention, the idea was that I create an atmosphere that the audience start to think about what am I doing, do you know what I mean? All I do is I come on stage and I drink water, that's it, that's all I do. And what I want from that is the audience just to think, what's he doing? Why is he drinking water? And then maybe that might make them think, something to do with Africa not having water, do you know what I mean? Maybe that might make them think, oh, I'm thirsty, do you know what I mean? Oh, after this I'm going to go for a beer or something like that. All I'm doing is creating art for art's sake, really. The notion of doing something for the sake of doing it. So I wasn't really trying to create art, I was just doing something. I was just drinking a bottle of water, and maybe art will come through that. Maybe because of people's interpretations of me just drinking water, they will interpret it their own way. So the idea of, so all I've done is drank water on stage, and I personally don't like it when people go, oh, I see what you did there, you tried to, it was about apartheid and people not having water in Africa, the third world. It was nothing to do with that, it was just me drinking water on stage. But if you thought that, that's great, that's fine. If you thought about going to the pub after that, that's fine. That's completely what I wanted, really. It's sort of, yeah, that's what I wanted. And the second performance was me acting. This is the first performance. In the first performance I wasn't actually acting, that was me personally, that was Braden Guy drinking a bottle of water. Whereas the second time what I tried to do was perform. So I tried to create intentions. Like in the first time, not like the bottle on me, but the first time I was looking at the bottle and I was stunned that water had calcium in it, not calcium, but like all these magnesium and things like that in it. And I was actually genuinely stunned. It was the realization of when I actually saw that on the bottle, and I was stunned.
So was it that realisation that made your first performance more naturalistic?
Genuine.
Would you say?
Yeah.
So if I was to ask you the question again, the second performance, I was aware as a spectator that you were acting much more than the first one. If not, in the first one you weren't acting at all.
Right.
Were you aware that you were doing this, and why?
I was completely aware I was acting. And the idea I was trying to explore was this notion of reality. The idea of recreating a realisation. So, in the first one I actually realised that what was in the water I was drinking, actually what was the contents of it, the millilitres that it was, they were all realisations. Like I actually started to choke a little bit, I coughed for real on the bottle of water. When you try and recreate reality, when you try and recreate art, how can you do that? How can you recreate a unique moment, is what I was trying to explore. In the second performance I tried to realise what was in the bottle of water again, but I already realised what was in the bottle of water. So how can you duplicate that? That was my intention of the second performance. Again, what effect did that have on the audience, if any? Like, if they just saw the first performance and then saw the second performance, what would that have done? Would they have gone, why is he doing it again? Or why is this time he acting? Or why I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yes. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Is it what as the audience member did you feel when I was drinking the water?
The first or the second time?
The first time.
The first time I was questioning as to why you were doing this. Why were you drinking this water? I was trying to put an artistic interpretation towards your performance and question as to why you were doing this. Why was I spectating? The second time, it was obvious you were acting a lot more. So, in a way, I questioned what you were doing and why you were doing it less. Because it seemed like it was more of a performance. I was more focused on you as an actor. And I was more critical of your acting and your body. Rather than as to why you were doing this performance. So, I think, in a way, performing more naturally and art for art's sake in the first way, in a way can provoke more artistic interpretation and provoke more emotion from the audience in your second performance. Because in your second performance, I was just criticising you as an actor and I was questioning as to whether it was believable. Whereas the second time, I was aware that you weren't acting, so I was questioning as to what were your reasons for this performance, why were you doing it, and how was I interpreting it as a spectator. That's how I felt.
Good.